Well, hello and welcome to this webinar. Thanks for turning up. Thanks for giving me your lunch time. I do appreciate that, and I hope to give you lots of useful information today and lots to think about and lots to get on with to make things work better for you. That's the whole point of this. I'm all about practical stuff, making things happen and making you enjoy your law firm, your consultancy more, attract more clients easily and grow to whatever size you want to be. And that is completely possible to do. I have firms of every size imaginable, from the few hundred thousands or just under some of them to the millions and above 10 million. So, and by and large, they get to the size they have got to just by doing the things I'm going to share with you today. Not by doing anything wacky or wonderful, just by being very consistent, very steady with the things that work, which I will show you today. So everything I share with you today is based on practical experience, me working with clients, spending my own money, and 2 million a year, spending my own money, a lot of it. And I don't share anything with my clients or with you or anybody unless I do it myself, believe in it, and it works for me. So we're not talking fluffy stuff that might be nice to try. We're talking about stuff that's tried, tested, proven in the legal services market, and that gets results. So let's dive on, and there'll be two parts to today. And I can get my cursor to work. The first part, common mistakes to avoid, the things that I'm in a fortunate position. I speak with hundreds of solicitors every year, many clients, but also many people that just want to chat to me about the legal world and winning more business. And so I see the common mistakes that are made all the time, and I want to make sure you're not making those, because there's just a lot of easy ways to waste money on stuff that doesn't work, and that's not what I'm looking for you. So I'll show you those common mistakes to flag them up, make sure you're not making them, and then I will also share with you what you should be doing if you really want to grow without wasting a lot of money. So, common mistakes. The first one is believe in the media. We've had our hall stairs and landing decorated in the last week or so, which is always fun. My decorator came in and asked him, as you do when you have anyone in your house, how is business? How's things? He said, well, it was really busy, but it's the recession now, so it's not very busy anymore. And I said, that's just not true. When I find asking about his marketing, as I'm inclined to do, I find out that he's not actually doing any. It's all word of mouth, and I'm sure there's plenty of work out there. As I know, I hear solicitors saying the conveyance market's down, and it might be, but I've got solicitors in the conveyancing sector having their best ever months. So just to believe the hype is not the right thing to do. And those four pictures at the bottom of that screen, they're all for new housing developments in my little old town of Nailsea, which is 20,000, soon to be 100,000 by the look of it, because they're popping up all over the place. And all those people moving into these houses need conveyancing solicitors. And everywhere I drive and everywhere I see, it's the same. There's new housing popping up all over the place. So, don't believe the media. Yes, it might be a slow market, but that just means you have to do more. You have to do more of the right things to get as much work in as you want to. And if you do that, you can have your record-breaking conveyancing months right now. Not in 6 months, not in 10 months. You could do it now. Don't get sucked into the media, which is always negative and miserable. And I know Christa would agree with that, because she's not a fan of anything that comes out of the media world, are you, Christa? She doesn't believe them. I agree. Second biggest mistake, obsessing over the competition. And again, it's on there because it is the second thing I hear. Solicitors are convinced that their nearest and dearest competitor is doing much better than them. Chris and I used to work in a firm in Reading, and I know that one of the partners was obsessed with the firm next door and thought they were much better than us and doing better. They weren't, but he just was obsessed with them. And in my experience, because I've got certain tools that I can look at other people's businesses, I can see, I can see if their website's doing well. Generally, it's not. I can see, what you can see in the conveyancing sector, how many conveyances they're handling. So you can see all these things, and generally the competition aren't doing that much better. It's just the belief that they are. So what I'd say in that position is, you as a business owner, consultancy owner, freelance solicitor, you have to worry about your own numbers and nothing else. And if you focus on those numbers, and every month record your key performance indicators, your website traffic, money you're spending on Google Ads, how many inquiries you have, how many conversions of those inquiries you get. In other words, how many clients you take on. If you obsess over those numbers, they will get better, especially if you do some of the stuff I'm going to share with you shortly. Obsessing over the competition is just not going to help, but obsessing over your own numbers is going to help dramatically. First, every month, I and most of my clients go through our numbers, and Christelle puts them together for me, thankfully. And she puts down all the key performance indicators so I can see how are we this month compared to last month? How has my client done this month compared to last month? And we just work on making it better, making improvements all the time to every aspect of their marketing, their website, their call handling, their conversion processes. What gets measured gets better is the saying I drum into all of my clients. We measure everything. We work hard on ensuring that those numbers get better. It's so important. So worry about your own numbers. If you'd like access to my KPI spreadsheet, by all means, email me and reply to any of the emails I send, and I will gladly let you take a copy of it and put your own numbers on it, because it is the most important thing. And another thing is when you start doing that and you see that the work you're doing is getting you more clients, more inquiries, it motivates you to keep going. But I know from speaking with hundreds of solicitors that normally I ask the question, what are your numbers? What's your web traffic like? How are your inquiries? I don't know. I think we're a bit quieter. You know, you can't work on thinks, you've got to work on knows. So you've got to know your numbers. Mistake number 3, I should add, if you have any questions on any particular aspect, just type into the chat box on the Zoom. There's a thing called chat. Christel's going to monitor that and feed them through to me. And I'll happily take any questions during the presentation or at the end or afterwards if you don't want to type it into the chat box, so that I can give you as much value as possible. Number 3, try marketing that will never work. And there's a test for this which I'll share with you, because one of the things I really hate is someone speaking to me and telling me they spent all of their marketing budget on something that was never going to work. And if they'd only spoken to me before, I could have told them that and saved them a lot of stress, a lot of wasted budget. So I've seen people spend money on the wrong types of marketing. All about easy life marketing, which is part 2 of this presentation, which is getting clients coming to you when they're looking for you. They have buyer intent behind their search for a solicitor. What happens when you use things like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, if you dare, is that you're using interruption marketing. People don't go to those platforms to find a lawyer, a solicitor. They go to Google, they go to Bing, whatever search engine. They ask their friends, they look for a referral. They aren't going on social media. So all of the types of marketing that I talk about, it's all about getting clients coming to you when they're looking for the service that you provide. I have had people on calls who have spent, one solicitor springs to mind, spent £10,000 on a website, didn't generate any inquiries because the whole ethos of his website was to get people to download a free guide to personal injury claims, and then he could email them forever. But the thing about personal injury claims is that it's a marketing DNA now business. People want to phone up straight away, so he spent the money in the wrong places. And I'll show you where the right places are. And thousands on Facebook marketing. I've yet to see anyone make Facebook marketing work incredibly well. Certainly anywhere near as well as Google Ads. And in every example, it's more expensive doing Google Ads, but in every example, the cost per client works out less. So in terms of your DNA, I'll share that with you now. There's 2 types. There's if this is all about what your client's looking for. If your client has an itch that needs scratching, you have a DNA now business, which means that all you've got to do is get that client on the phone or on live chat, or to send an email inquiry or fill in an inquiry form. They've got an itch and that needs sorting out right now. So that's important to know. If you're conveyancing, someone's moving house now, they're not thinking about it in 10 years time. If you've got personal injury practice, then now, like I said, that solicitor is offering a free guide. No one wants that. They want to phone up and speak to someone now. If you're employment law, any aspect where someone has a problem and that problem needs fixing, that itch needs scratching, you offer a now business. So your primary focus on your website and your other marketing is get them on the phone, get their contact details. If you're in the information business, someone goes looking for what you do. That's very much my business. Sadly for me, no one wakes up in the morning and goes, yay, I'm going to buy a marketing consultant. I want someone to grow my firm for me. They don't do that. What they say is, I want more clients, I want more money, I want to have a better life, and I want to have more time off. How do I grow my law firm? They go online, they download my book or guide, and I email them and hopefully offer value get you onto a webinar, and you think, okay, might know something. When I'm ready, I'll talk to him. That's my business, and that's very much the nurture business. That's the cat licking the other cat. It's nurturing it. So the objective of a nurture business is to get the email address and talk to them and offer value, not just sell, but offer value all the time, and a way of taking things forward. So that in the legal services world, that's very much employment. It's very much business to business. Startup businesses go looking for, how do I start a business? So if you can get their email address, then keep talking to them, you've got the best chance of getting their work. If we're talking about anything where someone's trying to research whether they can do something, then you've got to get their email address. And the other thing, business to business, is that lots of people already have a solicitor, so they're only going to move to you when they've fallen out with that solicitor. You've got to make sure that they hear from you every week until they do fall out with them. So it's incredibly important that you know your DNA. If you have a DNA business, a nurture business, and all you're saying is phone us, book an appointment now, you're missing probably about 70 or 80% of your leads. You need to offer something of value in exchange for their email address, and that value can be as simple as a brochure. I have that working incredibly well on many sites. So it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be one of these 7 ways to find the best business solicitor. It's a bit gimmicky for the legal world. It can be as simple as a brochure, and that works really well. And we'll look at these life client attraction methods soon. And the final common mistake is giving up too soon, or being inconsistent. I know a lot of people that give up on marketing that's working, and go and chase something exciting. And I've always getting the social media questions. I think I've made my view clear on that, because you don't go to Facebook media to buy a solicitor. You go to look at squirrels, or to look at babies, or look at cats, or look at whatever. You don't go to buy a solicitor. It's quite a grown-up thing to do. You do go to Google and find one. You do ask your friends. So that's why we're always trying to get more recommendations, more referrals from existing clients and friends, which we'll look at soon. But I've seen clients give up on fantastic opportunities. I've seen clients who have something that works really well. For example, they blog for a while, they get loads of web traffic, and then they stop. And I'll look at the web traffic and I say, wow, this blog does really well for you. Yeah, oh yeah, brings in loads of business. How often do you blog? No, never. Okay. So you've got to be consistent. If you find something that works, please don't ever stop doing it. That breaks my heart. I had a chat with a very good friend and long-term client yesterday, and he pointed out that he had stopped doing something that was working really well because they just got too busy. And I'm like, you stopped it? Just go and get another member of staff. Don't turn away when it's working so well. I told him I was going to have a shower after our talk because I was so certified by what he'd done, if that's a word. If it isn't, it is now. So yeah, don't chase new things. Do what works. Do it consistently. And my clients that do that, it's boring, but they do really well. It just works. So choose one of these life client attraction methods. Give it 6 months and don't stop until you make it work. If you really can't make it work, then try another method. But by and large, they all work pretty well. So let's look at those easy life client attraction methods. And what you'll notice probably about these more than anything is that a lot of them will revolve around your biggest asset that you own, or you should have, which is your website, which is there 24/7, 366, as it is this year, 366 days a year, bringing in clients every day, as it should be. So if you get these right, as I said to you at the start, you can be as busy as you want. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to spend tens of thousands. You can do if you want to grow quickly, and you need lots of work coming in, but you don't have to. So let's dive into these. So your website is your biggest asset. The biggest problem, and I'm going to give you some examples, and someone's asked me to have a look at their website, which I will gladly do. So yeah, website designers are probably a bane of my life. They love things to be pretty. They want flowers and big sheep and animals and lots of space on the page, and that's great for them, but it doesn't bring any clients in. Words do. Sadly, that's what you need on websites. And the other thing is you've got to just talk to your website visitor like you are dating someone. They've turned up. You can't go straight for the kill. You've got to make a bit of an effort to get their contact details as you would on a date. And one way, which I mentioned in the emails of talking about the presentation, is the Fabulous Four, which I'll cover in a minute, and talking calls to action. And what I mean by these is that if you bumped into someone under the Eiffel Tower on a lovely summer's evening, and you had a really nice chat, and you think this could go somewhere. At the end of it, you probably wouldn't just say, "Give me your phone number." you would say, "Oh, this has been really nice. I'd like to take this a bit further. Could I get your phone number? Could I keep in contact with you?" And yet on websites, this is what I see all the time. You do a bit of courting. Hopefully, you explain, you understand where the position of the website visitor. You show them that you understand, you're empathetic to their current position, and then there's a box that says phone us. And you've got to have this talking call to action that I talk about. So on my lovely this is just a website put up for fun that I can do anything on, really. Smithers Jones Law, you'll have the common problems here. You'll have a logo normally that's too small. There's no strap line explaining that you're solicitors, which is a really important thing to do. Obviously, there'll be a pay a bill button just to make sure everyone attending your site knows that you only want their money. That's a really good start to the process. Prices are adorned at the top. I know they've got to be there, but don't make them the be all end all. And then most importantly, I'll have that call button just at the bottom, with nothing else, no talking. Obviously the copy is all about me. Formed in 1832, we are this, we do this, call us. And then even better, don't just say call us, but call us on one of two numbers which you have to pick. And if you're not in either of those locations, you don't know which one to pick. So you press the back button and you go on someone else's website. Crystal, I can see there's a Q&A. I don't know if that's separate to the chat, so I don't know if you could feed that into my chat scroll, and I'll come back to that. So in terms of what we should have on our website, I have a website, Solicitors Near Me, which feeds leads through to my marketing solicitors members and to people that pay to get leads from it that don't have their own website or just can't make their website work. Solicitors Near Me, tell you who we are, and then you you go into the content. I've got a button on there, but you'll also find a talking call to action, and there should be more reviews sewn in here, which are in the process of being collected. In terms of, I'll look at another site, and then I'll come back to the question from Susanna, and then looking at a website that someone asked me to have a quick look over, which I said I'd do. So the key thing, so talk about the magic 4. I've got on it, there is a button which goes to inquiry forms, links to inquiry form, telephone number, and live chat. And the reason you need separately an inquiry form is because some people will want to fill in a form, and that shouldn't be on your contact page because you don't want them to get distracted. You could also have the email address on there, which is the other one. I choose not to, because I'd rather get them through the form. So on a database of solicitors, and telephone number hyperlinked, which 9 times out of 10 on a solicitor's website it isn't. So let's have a look and see if it is on here. So on this page, Carol, we've got a good heading, content's clear. I'd break it up with some imagery, so it just softens it. It's very copy heavy. I like copy, as we know. It is broken up with headings, subheadings, but just needs a bit of color on the page. I would have a call to action once we've talked at the beginning to the person. Then I'd get an early call to action. Call us on this number, the talking call to action. Call us, email us, complete non-inquiry, and live chat as well. If you're getting any volume of visitors, putting live chat on your website can instantly increase your volume, as does just adding telephone number, email, and contact form links, but don't call it a form, and live chat. If you've got any volume of visitors, adding those things will get you more inquiries. One of my clients went from no inquiries a day to 5 just by doing that. That's how powerful this is. So yeah, that a very long page. Definitely break it up with some imagery, and then sadly we have got the straight pricing. We're not asking anyone to do anything. So we've done all this courting, and we're under that Eiffel Tower, and they're thinking, well, they seem to know a lot. They seem to be good at this, and they send me off to prices. Oh no. You've got to have pricing. I'd tuck that away a bit more, and I'd get them on the phone or filling in their details before then. Susanna has asked, do I have any stats to back up the words or what's needed on websites? Yes, every single website that comes to me where there's no content on the page has no traffic. So it's very simple. If you don't have at least 750 words on every page, Google's not going to send any visitors to you. You just will not get any traffic because Google can't work out what your page is about. So if you don't have any content on the site, you won't get any traffic. All of my clients, and I'll talk to content marketing in a moment, but all of my clients that have websites with lots of content get lots of inquiries. And the best example I can give you is the last law firm I worked for. The one thing I really achieved before I set up on my own for them, because they didn't want to try too much of what I suggested, was a really good website which had loads and loads and loads of pages on it, over 100 pages, which going back to 2003, when I broke free, was was a lot of pages. And a year after I left and I was doing my consultancy, I bumped into one of the partners and he said, "Oh, Nick, that massive website you built for us, we've got rid of that. Yeah, we just got a 5-page brochure website." And I went, "Oh," and overnight your phone stopped ringing. He said, "How did you know that?" So I suppose that's the best proof I could give you, Susanna. You know, they went from a website with loads of content, loads of pages, loads of inquiries, like loads of inquiries, to one that didn't make the phone ring. I can assure you, having done this for, well, since 2000 web stuff, but full time since 2003, a website with no content will not get you any clients at all, ever. End of. That is that simple. So we've looked at those 2 sites. So the key thing is to say, get those calls to action on there. Really important. Content marketing, which I just touched on. If the problem with most websites is you get them published, all excited, then they stop and nothing happens. And as I say, you might have one blog that brings in traffic and nothing else happens. If it works, you've got to keep doing it. So it's important to make sure your website grows. Otherwise, it's like having an empty shop. No one's ever going to find it. No one's ever going to go in it because there's nothing there. So it's the same website. All of my clients who do have a good website and do add lots of content to it, get more visitors, get more inquiries, get more clients. So you know that's very simple. If anyone has, I was gonna do a bit of keyword research. If anyone wants to give me an area of law where they're based, I'm going to use a tool in a minute to show what sort of volume of traffic is in that area, and just show you why keyword research is so important. Because if you put content on a website without working out whether anyone's looking for it, then you might as well not bother. In all honesty, but if you when you added a page and you keyword research and you find that people are looking for it, then away you go. Or if you want to put in your website for me to look at, or a competitor's website, I basically can have a little look using my tool and show you what traffic is out there. So keep those coming in the Q&A or the chat. And this is why it's important. And then I'll show you a bit of keyword research. So this website had 0 traffic, and we started, it was a brand new website. So we started adding traffic, content, 5 articles a month, keyword researched in November. And look what happened, you know, just from adding 5 articles a month. So obviously it's still a relatively small website, but that sort of demonstrates the power. And then the next one, even more so, that they were about 4,000 visits a month. This is just organic content, free traffic. But the most important thing from my point of view is they've been with a massive marketing agency spending a lot of money on search engine optimization for over a year, and the traffic had stayed around 4,000. With me, we started adding 5 articles a month, and my copywriter keyword researched, and look where they are now. I mean, you'll agree that's quite dramatic in a period of, what are we now? So March, 18 months, 16 months. You know, that's I see this so often. I am lucky, like I say, I've got this lovely view looking down that I work on, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 websites, and I see, you know, when things are done consistently, what happens. I've got another client that's their traffic is ridiculously huge because they've been doing content marketing forever, long before many others, and it just works so well. So I've had someone say they'd like to do a bit of keyword research, so let's have a quick play. Criminal keyword research. Well, I did a just quick look here in case no one gave me anything. Conveyancing. So what this tool does is basically tells you what traffic is out there in Google. It's really good. I certainly don't worry about competitors, but it's really good if you put a competitor's website in here in Site Explorer, you can see what website traffic they are getting, which if it gives you the peace of mind to know that they're not getting any and you can focus on your own numbers, then all well and good, I would say. So this tool tells me that the term conveyancing is keyword difficulty 20, which isn't bad, 14,000 searches a month. And then it gives you other data, which isn't quite so important, but that's ultimately it's about the traffic we're looking for. So, you know, if you were a conveyancing solicitors near me, what's good about that as a blog post is that if you're in Reading and if I'm in Reading, my law firm Christel's in Bristol, or the other way around if you choose, then Christelle would have an article. She'd get her local traffic, and I'd get the local traffic in Reading. It's that simple, because Google knows where you are, so it can use that. Let's have a look at criminal law. So much less search term for criminal solicitor, I reckon, because a lot of people would put in the particular being charged with. So drink driving, if we did drink driving solicitor, I'll put you more. Or it'll just crash system. Oh no, even less. Drink drivers list 90. Global volume 500. But this is, I mean, I spend a lot of time, an unhealthy amount of time, looking at keywords for legal services, because I won't put an article unless I've got a keyword to target. I did for years. By luck, some of them worked, but by and large, if you're not choosing the keyword to target, you're not going to get great results. So keyword research is vital. And like I say, you can hack your competitors' websites and see what traffic they're getting. And you'll be able to see that they're not doing as well as you might think they are. So content marketing, if you want your site to grow, you've got to add content to it consistently. And when I say consistently, I mean relentlessly. Again, as I said at the beginning, some of this isn't hard, but you have to do it consistently. Boring, relentless consistency is what transforms your growth and your web traffic and your inquiries. And for every single one of my clients, and there's I don't know, over 10 at least, that does this consistently, the traffic goes up. It's the same. You might take 3 months, might take 6, but like I said, you've got to give it a bit of time. But once it starts going up, as you saw in those bar charts, it just keeps going up. There'll be some months that are quieter, like particularly February, Easter. We're probably going to have a funny March and April because Easter falls over both of them. Normally it just ruins one of them, but it's going to have an impact on both this time. And again, come back to KPIs and why you must know them. I only know that because I monitor stats for all my clients every single month. And I can go back to last February, I can go back to probably April for Easter last year and see it knocks off, because with Easter, you get a week off before. Some people take a week off after to make the most of the bank holiday, so as not to use up too much holiday. It impacts inquiries and visitor numbers. It always has, always will. But you only know that when you measure your KPIs relentlessly. One of my favorites, if you really want to scale, if you really want to get a lot of work coming in, is Google Ads. Again, I said it's all about buyer intent. I want someone looking for a solicitor that's choosing them. So conveyancing solicitor Bristol, I'm looking for a conveyancing solicitor in Bristol, and personal injury solicitor Reading, looking for a personal injury solicitor in Reading. Type that in, see an ad on Google, click on it, get on their website. If they've got the famous four in action, there's lots of client reviews, there's lots of information which tells me they're specialists. I'm on the phone, you've got a new client. So if you have a demand for work and you have a website that works and it's set up to convert, which we've touched on, Google Ads can change that. I have many clients generating hundreds of inquiries every single month from Google Ads. I always say, ideally, if you're running Google Ads and you're not seeing the needle move, you need at least 300 clicks, but the real fun starts when you get past 1,000, because at that volume of clicks, as long as you're doing it well, you get a lot of visits, you get a lot of client inquiries. It's a very consistent number, and yeah, you can get as much as you want. My best client, or biggest client in the Google Ads arena, was spending 6 figures a month, but generating hundreds of leads, and did so well. He sold his practice, and I was out of the job. So I got myself sacked by being too good, but I'm happy with that. He was a very happy man, so that was all good. So the only warning at the moment, I wanted to tell you this for anyone that is spending money on Google Ads, is you do have to watch Google. They used to always be the case that they wanted you to get value for money, and they'd look after you, but they are showing more signs of being more commercially ruthless. So you have to be very careful with where they're spending your money. And one example of this very recently, a client that I sort of mentor in the Google Ads arena, because he hasn't got a huge budget. So 14 days before, he had a chat with Google, and you really got to watch those chats with Google. I refuse to have any of them, because I know that mostly when the Google Ads rep talks to you, they're making more money, not necessarily you. So I just refuse to talk to them anymore. And so he'd spent in 14 days before speaking to Google a cost of £2.39 per click. After Google made all these changes to his account, it was £3.17 per click, so 78 more per click. So it's not a terrible thing. It doesn't sound too bad, too dramatic so far, does it? But when I tell you that what happened really was that his 14 days spent before, when he was getting client inquiries, was £93. In the 14 days after Google made all these changes, which are definitely going to help him in his best interests, then he spent £422 and no clients. So Google changed everything in his campaign to basically just ramp up the spend, and he got nothing from it. Now, I think that's unscrupulous practice. So if that has happened to you, or if you've got Google Ads running and you want to know whether that Google's applying all these auto recommendations that it did him, just ping me an email and I'll show you how to turn it off. There's a video I've done showing my marketing for solicitors members how to turn it off. I'll gladly share that with you because I hate people wasting money, as you might have gathered, in the wrong places. And Google is just recommending changing everything to broad match keywords, which means they'll send loads of traffic your way, but it won't be relevant. It will be solicitor with big ears. When you're looking for conveyancing solicitor leads, it'll be solicitor with dodgy leg or whatever. I'm using ridiculous examples, but you look at some of your search terms and that's what you get when Google turns on automatic recommendations. So email me if you'd like to turn them off. I have a question. Converting clicks to leads, getting good clicks, but a very low number of people filling out the form. So have you established, I'm trying to think, I know Jeeves, probably you might be a nurture business. Type in quickly if you want to, or if you can, who you're selling to. Is it to solicitors for outsourcing? If it is, then very much a nurture business. I think he's typed in Krista, very much a nurture business. So it would be about getting people's details. So download our brochure to find out more. If it's conveyancing, then have you got the famous four? Have you got telephone, email, inquiry form, live chat? Have you got trust builder on the page? Have you got loads of client reviews? Have you got proof that you're specialists in conveyancing, how many conveyancing transactions you've handled? All of the things that make a cracking website landing page, and I'll touch on those because I'm going to be doing a 6 weeks training on making your website match fit, which I'll tell you about in a bit. But yeah, it's if you're getting the clicks and those clicks are good, and they're not, and it could come back to Google auto recommendations that maybe they're not good clicks because Google's sending you some really wide traffic without buyer intent, so they're never going to get in touch with you. If that's the case, obviously that could be one of the problems. But you know me, if you'd like me to have a look at it, just ping me an email. I will obviously be glad to do so, because like I've said, I hate wasting money and it's not working. And then, yeah, finally, email marketing is the other easy life client attraction. And the reason this is so good is because you stop having that question of, I didn't know you offered that service. You stop hearing that when your client says, oh, I didn't know you did personal injury as well as conveyancing. I didn't know you were business solicitors as well as employment solicitors, because you're speaking to your client every single month. And if someone says to them, do you know a good solicitor? Oh, yeah, my solicitor emails me every month. I'll forward the email on to you. They can't do that if you don't email your clients. And when you do email clients every week, every month, every year, you get more referrals and recommendations. It's as simple as that. My client I mentioned that was doing, spending a lot on Google, I also forced them to do email marketing. And even though they were a niche practice, just by talking every month, they got referrals and recommendations, and that number went up a lot. And when you bear in mind that the claims were high value, that's not a bad thing. Crystal, I think there's another Q&A in. So the key thing with email marketing is not to overthink this. I'm all about marketing leverage. So ideally what you're doing is you're adding content to your website every month. And I was speaking to a client yesterday, and he said this, you got me doing email marketing, Nick. He said it's quite easy, really, isn't it? He said, because you also got me doing content marketing, and this traffic's gone poop. He said, and all I do is pick one of the articles that I've put on the website and turn that into an email, and that's it. That's all I do. He said it's easy. I said it's meant to be easy. It doesn't have to be hard. It's marketing leverage. marketing was going to be terrible and complex, and it's not. And he's getting more referrals and recommendations. And another person that did that is the very sensible Vinay Tanner, of Garner Hancock, and he said to me this week, I had a chat that, he was quite straight with me. I said, you banged on about this for ages, Nick, and eventually I gave in. That's persistence. What he means is I banged on. And now he's got a database of 5,000 people. And, whether you think email marketing works or doesn't, it definitely does. The key thing is that, if you speak to 5,000 people every month, do you think you might get one piece of business just occasionally? Do you think you might get one recommendation, one extra something? That I know from experience that you will. Even if you're a niche practice, that one of the great ways of doing email marketing is just talk about any legal aspect. The property market's always a good one. Any HR issues, even if you're not in that sector, and say, look, we're just here to help. If you've got a question, come to us. Then you can refer them on, and then you can demand referrals back. That's a good strategy for a niche practice. If you're just looking to build the relationships with your audience, then they'll keep looking at your emails, and when they do have a needs list, you're the first port of call. Then you can control where those leads go and demand that you get some back as well. Email marketing works incredibly well. People say, well, I don't read anyone's emails. Doesn't matter. It's a numbers game. I can assure you, I wouldn't have a business without email, because I am a pure nurture business. But a lot of my clients do very well from email marketing, and certainly in the business to business sector, they have to have an email list if they really want to grow and grow easily. So if you're not doing email marketing, and you're certainly a niche practice, but also if you're a big practice, you're missing huge opportunities there. So there we are. There's the easy life client attraction methods, getting people coming to you through when they're looking for you, when they have buyer intent behind them. And you'll have noticed that a lot of the things relate to your website, because as I said, it's your 24/7, 366 tool for bringing in clients. And the live chat I mentioned, by the way, is outsourced. You don't have to do it, and that's done 8 till 8 p.m. So you look much more proactive than most firms, and they offer a 2-week free trial. So if you want to try that, if you haven't got the Famous 4 on, and you want to go from Famous 3 to 4, then happy days. Let me know. I'll introduce you. It works a treat. If I have whetted your appetite about making your website better, and if it is probably one of my biggest missions, because I can't stand websites that don't make the phone ring. I love it when a client says, I've had 100 inquiries this month from the website, and it's unbelievable. It's not unbelievable for me, but I love it when they get that excitement and they're measuring it, because I make them measure it. So over the next 6 weeks in Marketing for Solicitors, I'm going to be running a training all about making your website match fit, bringing clients in. And I thought I'd break it up, because lots of people say, well, I know I need to do 100 things, and they're all important. And I thought, well, let's just make this simple. Let's just do the six really important things, small things that you can do in a week that will have an impact after the end of that 6 weeks period. So we're going to cover, and I meant to say, spotter's badge for anyone that can see my deliberate typo. I call it deliberate typo because I only spotted it just was when I was running through my slides. But yeah, spotter's badge if you can get to the Q&A with my deliberate typo there. But week 1, I'm going to show you quick fixes for more clients. So I'm going to show you the simple things you should do, how to do them, and how to do them simply to get clients coming to you and talking to you. The next thing I'm going to do is show you how to get trust on every page, because what happens with web visitors is they're cold traffic. They don't know you. And you've got to win them over as a specialist in a very short period of time. So you've got to say to them, I do know what I'm doing. I am good at this. So I'm going to show you all the tools you can use in 90 seconds to win their trust. And why 90 seconds? Because that's about the average time someone will be on your website, if you're lucky these days. I used to call it a 2-minute trust builder. It's gone down. People won't spend that much time on your website, sadly. So you've got to very quickly win them over and prove that you know what you're doing. Competitor keyword stealer. I told you I don't want you fixating on competitors, but I don't mind you stealing their keywords. So the tool I mentioned, I'll show you how you can quickly see what traffic they're getting, what keywords are working for them, so you can target them. But also not just competition, people that are doing the type of work that you want, finding who's at the top of Google, putting their websites through that tool, and seeing what traffic they're getting and what you could write blogs about. If you did nothing else, if you didn't have the biggest budget but you had time, and I was a solicitor, then this is all I'd do. I'd write a blog a day. And I would, if I'm sitting there with no work coming in, if you did a blog a day and you keyword researched it and did all the stuff I'm going to show you on Page Optimizer behind the scenes in week 4 and 5, your traffic would go up, your inquiries would go up, and in 6 months you wouldn't be worrying about getting more work in. You'd be fine. Most people, as I mentioned, give up too soon on stuff, or don't do enough of it. So 5 articles a month will move the needle if you do it every single month. It won't move the needle if you do it, as many of my clients do. Oh, I've done the articles and it didn't work. I did 1 article in November, 2 in March, and 1 in August. That's not going to work. Consistency is absolutely boring, relentless. Consistency, as I've said numerous times, is vital. So yeah, that's what I'd do if I didn't have huge budget. Content marketing all day, every day. In week 4, I'll show you the on-page optimization. I'll show you what you need to do, including my website copywriting formula, so that you can literally just follow this template, write the content, and get to the end of the page where your user should be saying, I like these people. I'm going to give them my contact details. I'm going to go on live chat. I'm going to fill in their form. I'm going to click the email. I'm going to phone them. And then the boring stuff that's really important, but is a bit boring. And the key thing about that is I can tell you how to find people to do it for you. So if you're thinking, yeah, Nick, all this stuff sounds great, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to do about it. There's always people that can help you, and I can show you where you can find them. And it doesn't have to break the bank. And some people will even do some trial work for you to prove they can do it before you have to pay them. So that's always a good way of testing them out. And finally, I'm going to give you the tools and resources. That could be tools, maybe, or maybe I'll give you some trolls. It's about that time of year, but I'm going to give you stuff that makes to website marketing. Now, I often wonder when clients talk to me why more people don't dive in. Marketing for Solicitors, where you get this training, is £65 a month. You don't have to stay a member forever. You can dip out whenever you want. You can literally, Christelle, if you could put in the Q&A or the chat box the link. You can dive in, do this 6-week course, and dive out, and I won't be offended. I'm here to help. I'm genuinely, desperately keen for people to make the most of their website, because when you do, it can just transform your business and your life. You can enjoy life a bit more, and that's what Marketing for Solicitors is all about. It's training to show you exactly what you need to do to get more clients. And as well as that 6 weeks training, it's just that's the page. You'll see you get everything here that you need to grow your law firm. You also get the ability to ask me questions. So if you're stuck on something, I can't stand it if you say, oh, I just gave up because I didn't know this. Just ask me. I hope you can see I want you to do well. I want solicitors' lives to be easier. You don't have to. This doesn't have to be hard. And there's all the training is there to get you what you want and what you need. And I'm looking forward to doing this over a 6-week period. I'd love you to follow along live with it, so that you improve your website at the end of a 6-week period. You've forced yourself to do these little changes, which I know from many years' experience will make a big difference. So by all means, give me any questions you got now on anything we've covered or anything we haven't covered that you'd like my opinion on. I don't have to end now, but I am going to wrap shortly in terms of me talking, because I'm going to lose my voice. But I'm glad to take any questions, pop them in the Q&A. Christo will field them over to me. If you want to be put forward to speak, you can do that. If you'd rather not, you just type a question, pop them in. But yeah, I'd love to see you inside Marketing for Solicitors. It's priced low on purpose. I want everyone in there, because I know it can make a massive difference to getting you more clients easily. And that's people say, well, I didn't believe it'd be any good because it's too cheap. But most solicitors, when they do join, get, oh, actually, it's useful. I'm staying. So I fight that one. But I just want people to. I want you to make your life easier. And then if you say, okay, well, this is working now, Nick, I'm making more money. Can you run my Google ads? Can you just do content marketing for me? Then of course I can. Can you build me a website? Yes, I can. I never sell. I'm very fortunate, and I appreciate that. I don't have to hard sell anything because I've got a lovely client base who just want my help as and when, and I really enjoy it. So I'm lucky in that respect. Have we got any questions? Has anyone got anything for me? Come on, fire away. Do you want me to look at your website? Are you brave enough? Would you like me to look at your website afterwards without everyone else looking? Let me know if you do. I will gladly do that for you. But I'd also love you to join Marketing for Solicitors and work along with me in the next 6 weeks. And I haven't put this on the page, but during the 6 weeks, if you want to, after you've done the changes, you want to email me and say, Nick, can you look at it? Can you look at the changes I've done? Are they okay? Is that what I'm supposed to have done? I'll do that. If you improve your website, you can make your life so much easier. So I will gladly, walk you through it over these 6 weeks to make it better. Or someone wants to use social media by touch paper. Margaret, you don't need it. It's definitely not easy life client attraction. Most of my clients who are 6 figures, 7 figures and beyond, they're not fixated on social media. Business to business, you might do a bit of LinkedIn. But it comes back to easy life client attraction, people with buyer intent looking for what you offer right now. They're not on social media. They're looking at squirrels, they're looking at everything else. The only thing I recommend with social media is that you link back, you post on there and link back to your website. That just tells Google there's content out there. But if you have a really good website, if you do content marketing, Google Ads, email marketing, you don't need to worry about social media. That is 100% true, because none of my clients spend any time on it. They spend time on the things that matter and things that work. So yeah, you don't need to worry about that. B2B, yes, geez, LinkedIn. You can use that on there, and but I'm B2B. I'm very much a nurture business, and because my Google Ads, my content marketing works for me, I don't spend any time on LinkedIn. I could if I wasn't a lazy marketer. I'm all about the lazy. I'm all about clients coming to me. LinkedIn's a bit too much hard work for me, so I don't do it. But it does work very well, and I've got training inside Marketing for Solicitors all about LinkedIn, because I know for some solicitors they're very keen to be on there. But that training says no more than 10 minutes a day. I don't want you wasting hours in there, because you don't need to. Easy life client attraction. Should it be lazy client attraction? I don't know. Some people say I'm lazy. I don't think I'm lazy. I work every day, all day, every day. But I don't want to ram my message down people's throats. I want to be found when someone's looking for my help. And that's why I coined the phrase easy life client attraction. That's why all of my clients come to me in that way. And it's not that I haven't tried everything else. I've tried everything else. I've tried exhibitions. I've done exhibitions. I've done cold calling, 70 cold calls a day. I've done networking. I've done all the in your face stuff. And that's why I set out to get away from it, because I just don't like it. I don't like to have to thrust myself into somebody else, say, give me some work. It's just not me. So if I can get people coming to me that are looking for help, and more importantly, when they've made the decision to get help, that means they're much more likely to go ahead and take the next step. I've got friends that do social media marketing. Oh, it's really cheap, Nick. Okay, how many do you convert? Yeah, they're really hard to sell to, because they're sort of vaguely interested, because they didn't start the search. They didn't have that buyer intent. They're vaguely interested in what you say, but then they never convert. You need someone to have that inner need and that inner pain to say, I need to fix this problem. For me, I need to fix the problem of not having enough clients. For you, I need to fix the problem of conveyancing being quieter, when Nick's told me that others are flying, which they are at the moment. So, you've got to have that desire to fix something, otherwise you won't follow through and take action. So I'd love you to join me inside for this 6 weeks training on getting your website match fit, getting it bringing in clients for you. At the end of that 6 weeks, I know you'll see results, and I hope the idea is, I've never done anything like this, but hopefully by doing it bit by bit, week by week, I won't overwhelm you, because I appreciate I talk quite quickly, and I might set too much homework. So I want to set less homework, but I want you to follow through and get things done and get your website in the best position it's ever been in, so that you can grow your firm to whatever size. I'm going to stop talking. Unless there's any other questions, I'm going to let you go about your Thursday afternoon. I hope it's dry and sunny where you are. It's quite nice here. Have a lovely afternoon. Any questions afterwards, please come through to me. Please do email me if you want to join Marketing for Solicitors. And as I say, at each step you want to say, Nick, have I done this right? You can do that. I'll include that free of charge, because I want you to do it. I want you to take action. And if you've got any other questions after this, just ping me or Christelle an email, and I will be delighted to help you. Thank you for your time, and have a wonderful Thursday.